everyone, it's Kim and welcome back to Read It and Eat. Welcome back to Read It and Eat. I hope you're well, hope you're reading something great, and I have a really short June reading wrap up for you. Now, June was a really crazy month for me. Actually, the end of May into June was a pretty crazy month, couple of weeks for me. So I spent the end of May in Seattle for fun with my husband. Check out that Seattle bookstore shopping vlog. I'll link it above and down below. I came home from Seattle and then I had 48 hours till I got back on a plane to go back across the coast to Anaheim, where I worked at a trade show for my regular job, my 9-to-5 job, if you will. I was at IDBA, which is the in-store deli desserts bakery association's yearly trade show. So this is an event where you meet a lot of your customers and clients who are buying from you, and I work in icings. So my display was all about making the most beautiful cupcakes and cakes and different products to display using the icings that I make and sell during my full-time job as the product manager. Obviously, we had a whole team of culinarians, cake technicians. They were really the ones icing cakes and making them beautiful. My job was things like go to the Whole Foods and find us 3 flats worth of organic, beautiful looking strawberries, or please cut 100 little samples and little tiny cups of cheesecake. I was there for about a week. I did get to see Alton Brown host a talk. He was one of the keynote speakers, which was pretty cool. I missed meeting him in person and getting an autograph by literally 5 minutes. He stepped on an elevator the minute I walked out into the hallway to try and meet him. So that was a bummer, but it was really cool to see Alton Brown as a keynote speaker. So I was at that show through the first week of June, came back to New York, where I live, and then went into joint sales meetings. These are annual huge meetings. They're intercompany, so not external, only internal team. But they're huge presentations, and my section is an hour and a half of me on the stage talking about all of my products. So by the time all this dust settles, it's mid-June, and I have barely read a thing. So I'm going to take you through, it's going to be quick. I only read 3 books in the month of June. First book I wanted to talk about was what I read for my local Buffalo book club. I have a Read It and Eat book club with a local tea shop, and I read The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. This is Jessa Maxwell's debut, and this was, I don't read thrillers that often. Mystery thrillers, whodunits. I guess you could say it's cozy culinary mystery. I think there's a little bit more violence than the traditional cozy culinary mystery. It's also a much bigger physical book. So I say you put it somewhere between cozy culinary mystery and thriller. This is quite literally this book is quite literally the Great British Baking Show with a murder on set. And you get to meet and figure out who did it. Now, I should be clear, I don't read a ton of mysteries, but this is not the kind of book where you get to solve the mystery before you get to the end of the book. You only learn and know as much as each character does. There are multiple points of views in this book because you are following the entire cast. And I thought that was pretty cool. But it is frustrating that basically in the last 40 pages, they have to explain to you how it happened. Now, I won't spoil it, but that not exactly is my favorite way to read a mystery book. And that's fine. As a debut author, I'm really excited to see what else Jessa Maxwell writes. I hope she writes more culinary thrillers, because this was a lot of fun, and I do recommend this book. I also would say if you are a fan of the Great British Baking Show, there are definitely this author knows that show. So there's an older lady host, the younger Paul Hollywood host, who is Americanized in this one because it takes place in Vermont. I should make that clear. There is references to a young contestant sleeping with the Paul Hollywood, and if you've watched any of the Great British Baking Show, you'll remember the did they don't they controversy of did Paul Hollywood sleep with Ruby Tando, who Ruby now has a very successful writing career all of her own in food. It's never been debunked, but it's just one of those things that they talk about. I really enjoyed this book, and I think you will too. If you've read it, give me a note in the comments below. The other book I read this month was a reread. I reread Chef's Choice. This is by TJ Alexander. I have created a whole limited edition box. I've made it for Pride Month, where it featured TJ's second book in the Chef's Kiss universe. This is the second. This is a trans romance with Luna and Jean-Pierre. It's fake dating. Jean-Pierre needs to produce essentially the Last Supper so he can inherit his grandfather's wealth and enterprise, and he must recreate some dishes that his grandfather has set to him. But his grandfather and also his own mother are pretty non-supportive of the fact that he is trans, so there's a lot of tension. I really loved Luna being so open and embracing the fact that, yeah, she's trans and she's proud of it, and Jean-Pierre just wants to be normal. And it really is a nuanced conversation that I appreciated reading. I mean, I am a cis heterosexual woman, so I have not had to deal with the burdens and conversations and the impacts around it, but it was really nice to read the nuances and understand both sides of maybe people who want to fit in, or on the other side, people who want to stand out. It was very beautifully written. I love reading TJ's work, and I always learn a lot while reading TJ's work. At the same time, it's still culinary and it's still foodie, delicious, and fun. My camera battery is probably overheating as we speak, so if I get disconnected, I do apologize. The final book I read in the month of June is California Soul, an American epic of cooking and survival by Keith Corbin. This was one of the nominated James Beard books for food writing in the memoir category. I've already read Fatima Ali's Hunger. This is the second book in this area. I have one more to read. So California Soul is about Keith Corbin, and Keith Corbin is a black chef who is incarcerated. He is mixed up in a lot of bad things in his life, and it's really about his drive and desire to get out of that bad situation and to really become a chef. And not all of it is as beautiful as it seems. There's moments where he is brought in to be a chef for this new project led by Roy Choi, and there are conversations of not only inferiority complex, not being confident, but also, is he the token black man for a white guy or feel-good initiative? Is that really all he's there for versus his own skills? It's a very nuanced, layered conversation. I listened to this as an audiobook and really enjoyed it. Description of Keith's book. After his release, Corbin got a job managing a kitchen at Local, an ambitious fast food restaurant spearheaded by celebrity chefs Roy Choi and Daniel Patterson, designed to bring inexpensive, quality food and good jobs into underserved neighborhoods. But when Corbin is suddenly thrust into the spotlight, he struggled to live up to or accept the simplified gangbanger redemption portrayal of him in the media. As he battles private demons while achieving public success, Corbin traces the origins of his vision for California soul food and takes readers inside the worlds of gang hierarchy, drug dealing, prison politics, gentrification, and culinary achievement to tell the story of how he became head chef of Alta Adams, one of America's best restaurants. There's so much to unpack in this description, but it was I just really enjoyed reading it. I understand why it was nominated. It's such a nuanced and unique conversation, a unique experience, but at the same time sheds light to a lot of things I see in the culinary world that don't always feel that great. It's one of those moments. I think it's a book worth listening to because Keith narrates it himself. And I think just his vernacular, the way he is speaking, just adds a level of potency and poignancy to the memoir. So I highly recommend it. Again, I can see why it was one of the top 3 to win the James Beard Award in 2023 for the best of food writing. I really hope you pick it up. I'm interested to see where Keith Corbin shows up next, if he writes another book or if we see him more in the media, but I really, really enjoyed this book. This is a really short wrap-up. I know I'm back to reading more. Hopefully I'm not traveling nearly as much the rest of the year, but let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you are reading something great and eating something delicious.